Hey kids, Mr. Michael here to teach you a little bit about how to present a demonstration. If you have your 4-H book, let's go ahead and get that out. Get out your 4-H yearbook and turn to page 22. 22 in your 4-H yearbook. We're going to talk a little bit about 4-H project demonstrations today. Now, a good place for us to start would be just to say, what is a demonstration, Mr. Michael? Well, I'll tell you. A demonstration is another way of teaching, but instead of just talking to the class, like some of you did with your informative speeches, instead of just talking to the class, you are actually going to talk and show us how to do something. Okay? So you're putting more than just your words together. You're going to put your words and your actions together. You're going to use posters, maybe some props, some materials to help teach the class how to do something. If you look on number 1 on page 22, are guidelines to follow for 4-H 4th and 5th grade project demonstration. Number 1, in a demonstration it says that you both show and tell how to do something. Okay? So it's not just talking, it's not just showing, it's putting those two things together. You're going to show us and tell us how to do something. You may also make something. So if some of you are arts and craftsy type of people, you want to show us how to make something, that's okay. And you could also show us how something works. That would also be a demonstration. So if you've learned recently, maybe in your science class, how to make a circuit or how to make an electromagnet, you could actually show us one that you've made and teach us how that works. Okay, those are all acceptable things for your demonstration. You need to choose a topic that is neither too hard, too complicated, nor too easy. Okay? You all are 4th and 5th graders now. You are smart enough to make a better demonstration than how to make a bread sandwich. Okay? Taking 2 pieces of bread, stick them together, and eat it. That's a demonstration, but that's too easy. We need to pick out something a little harder than that. But don't go too crazy the other way and try to show us how a car engine operates, because that's too much. It's too complicated for the time limit that we have. You'll see there on number 1, there's a big sentence there. It's bolded and underlined. It says, all topics must be approved by your teacher. That's very important. I don't want any of you to get in trouble because you tried to show us how to do something that wasn't allowed at school. So the way to get around that is to make sure that you talk to your teacher and have your your demonstration topic approved by them. Number 2, this is an individual project for 4-H. You may not work in teams. You have to stand up here and present your demonstration all by yourself. Number 3, you're going to use your posters and your materials, your props, if we wanted to say that. You're going to use those to help you teach your story. You're going to put those together with your spoken words, your script. Okay? So you can't just have posters up here that say, today I'm going to teach you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let's look at the posters. And then just flip through the posters. That's not a demonstration. Nor is just talking to us and telling us how to do it. Nor is just showing us. You have to put all of those things together. That's what a good demonstration is. Number 4 and 5, this is I don't really like these two, but this is the do nots. Do not, do not, do not. Okay? But we do have a few things that you're not allowed to do for your demonstration. Number 1, you're not allowed to bring in live animals or babies. Okay? Don't bring any dead animals either, or dead babies. That's not allowed either. Okay? No live animals, no live babies. Okay? Let's think about that for a second. If you wanted to show us how to change your a diaper, you couldn't bring in your little brother or your older brother. That'd be kind of weird. Don't do that. Okay, but you couldn't bring them in and show how to change a diaper. What could you do instead?
Use a doll.
That's right. You could use a baby doll. Okay, you could bring in a doll and show us how to change that diaper. If you wanted to show us how to wash a dog or how to give a dog a bath, could you bring in a live dog? No. Okay, what could you do instead? You could use a stuffed animal, that's right. So you could bring in a stuffed animal and show us how to give a dog a bath that way. You also are not allowed to do audience participation. We already talked about that. This is by yourself. You may not use videos or PowerPoints, no trifold boards, big display boards. You can just use posters. Okay. And a very important part, do not bring any materials that are prohibited at school. What does that word prohibited mean? Anybody know? That's right. If it's the prohibited means not allowed. So if it's not allowed at school, then you are not allowed to bring that for your 4-H demonstration. So no guns, no knives, no fireworks, things like that. Okay, those are not allowed at school. That's why it's very important that you have your topic approved by your teacher. She can look at or he or she can look at your material list and let you know, yes, Stephen, that's an acceptable demonstration, but this material, you're not allowed to bring this material in, so you have to figure out something else to do. Okay. So use your imagination, but get your topic and your material list approved by your teacher. Number 5 says, this is the messy things. You can't do anything that's too messy. So know how to make volcanoes or make Diet Coke and Mentos explode. Okay. No gook or gap. No simple sandwiches. No cheese sandwiches. That's too easy. Okay. Also, a very important thing, no paper projects. Okay, no paper folding projects. So no paper airplanes, no paper poppers, no origami. Those are not allowed for our 4-H demonstration. Okay, I know that's a bummer for some of you, but just think about something else to show us. Number 6, important part. Your demonstration may not last more than 5 minutes. Okay, look around the room here. There are a lot of people in your classroom. If everyone gave a 5-minute demonstration, we would run out of time. Okay? So try to keep your demonstrations to around 2 or 3 minutes. Okay? 2 or 3 minutes. And so you're looking at a demonstration that you could do maybe in 4 or 5 or maybe 6 steps. If you had a demonstration with 4, 5, or 6 steps, then that would probably hit around that 2 to 3 minute time frame. And that's a good place for us to be. Number 7, a good demonstration has 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay? That's very similar to your speech. So make sure that you have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Let's look over on page 23 now in your books. And you'll see 23 is steps for planning and presenting or giving your demonstration. Now, if you think back to when you were working on your speech contest, that was kind of, for some of you were like, that was really hard, okay? And it was hard. You had to sit down and write your thoughts down on a piece of paper. You have to practice those over and over again, work in your hand gestures and all those types of things, your body language and thinking about all that. And so that might have been a little difficult for you. But the demonstration, it's not necessarily harder than a speech. It's just different. Rather than standing up here and just talking to the class like I'm talking to you right now, in a demonstration, you're going to have to multitask, meaning that you're going to have to do more than one thing at a time. You're going to have to talk and flip posters and work out your steps while you're talking. So you're going to be doing those things all at the same time. Okay? And so that requires you to think a little bit more about this at home, to do a little bit more planning at home. The first place to start, a really good place to start when you're working on your demonstration, is to start with the body of the demonstration. What would the body of your demonstration be? The steps. Okay, the steps. That's the main part of your demonstration, are actually the steps of how it is that you're going to show us how to do something. So that's a good place to start. Take a piece of paper out and say, I want to show how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So the steps are, get out your bread, get out your peanut butter, get out your jelly, get out your materials. So you're going to take out the slice of bread. So list all of your steps, and then you're going to add actions to those. You know, as I'm talking about getting out the bread, what am I going to need to do at that same time? Okay. Once you have the body done, then you can go back and work on your conclusion and your introduction. Okay. And you can read more about that on page 23. One other thing in the planning process that's really important to remember is that if your demonstration has a number of steps that require some waiting time in between the steps, you're going to have to plan ahead and maybe work on your project at home and bring in, as part of your materials, some of your examples at different stages of the project. Okay, so if you're showing us how to make brownies, okay, are you going to have enough time to show us completely right in front of us during the classroom how to make brownies? No. Why not? Because brownies take more than 5 minutes just to bake in the oven. Not to mention the stuff that you have to do before you put them in the oven and the things you have to do after they get out of the oven, because you can't just eat them right away because they're too hot. So you're going to have to think about that ahead of time. You might have to make some brownies at home the night before. Go ahead and cut those up and put them on a plate. You might have to make another batch of brownies that's just in the pan. And then what you're going to do in the classroom is actually show us how you take the brownies out of the box, the brownie mix out of the box, and put it in the bowl and add the different parts and mix it all up and then pour it in the pan. And then you would say, now that all my brownies are in the pan, I'm going to take this and put it down in the oven. And then 5 minutes later, you'll pull out this other pan of brownies. You would say 5 minutes later, you pull out this other pan of brownies, and what's in it? Brownies that you cooked the night before. So you have to think about some of those with the cooking projects or arts and crafts projects. If you're gluing things together, you're going to have to work on some of that ahead of time because you're not going to have enough time in class to show us projects like that. So just keep that in mind. Number 2, preparation. Make a list of all your materials and equipment that you need and gather all of those supplies together. We recommend, it's not required, but we recommend that you also make some posters. And I'm going to show you an example of a demonstration here in just a little bit. And I have some posters that I've made for that demonstration. We recommend a title poster, a poster that lists your materials needed, and then another poster that has your steps on it. And that's really good. If you have those 3 posters, you're going to be just fine. There's in your book on page 23, it talks about the posters a little bit in more detail about how you want to make sure how you can make your posters so that the audience can read them and follow along. I'm going to let you read that. We don't have enough time today to go over that. But look on page 23 in preparation, and it will talk about your posters. Okay. Remember that your demonstration needs to be less than 5 minutes. And so you're going to have to practice at home to make sure that you're under 5 minutes. Again, I would stress to try to have your demonstration last around 2 to 3 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. Now, number 3 on page 23, if you look there, it talks about your presentation. Okay. This is very, very similar to what we talked about with our speech. We want to make sure, number 1, that we make good eye contact. So I'm making eye contact with the cameras right now. This is a little bit freaky if you stood up here and said, "Today I'm going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." Although I'm looking at you, this is a little bit creepy, right? Don't do that. Okay. What are we talking about with eye contact? That's just making sure that you look up at your audience from time to time. Make sure that you look around a little bit over these people over here. Hey, how y'all doing? Okay. Look over here at these people. Look directly in front of you. But you want to make eye contact. When I'm judging your demonstration, if you make eye contact, if you look up at the audience, about every 10 seconds, I'm going to say that's really consistent eye contact. If you look up every maybe 15 to 20 seconds, I'll say that's fairly consistent eye contact. If I only see you look up every 30 seconds, I would say that's little eye contact. And of course, if you stand up here the whole time and like this, then I'm going to say you have no eye contact. And you can hear just even the difference in my voice when I'm talking like this versus when I'm looking at you. You'll notice that there's a difference there. And that's why eye contact is so important. Not only does it engage your audience and grab their attention, but it will help your voice to be better because you're going to have your head up looking at the audience. Voice, we talked about that, being loud and clear. Roll those shoulders back, stand up nice and confident. That's your body language, your posture. That's what we're talking about with posture. So you can read over that on page 23. And you can even look back to in your 4-H book where we talked about how to present a good speech. Because remember, a demonstration is a speech along with some motion, some actual explanation. Now let's take a moment and turn in your book to page 24. We're looking for the outline page. Page 24. This is in here for your benefit. If you fill in all of these blanks, your demonstration is going to be great, just like your speech was. Okay. So at the top, you see how to. There's a place for your introduction. Over to the top and the right is where we have the list of materials. So just list your materials right here. Okay. Just write them down. And then the steps. Here's 5 steps listed there. Like I said, try to pick a demonstration that's listed with 5 steps, about 5 steps. But if you need to add some more, you can do that. Just use a different piece of paper. But add your steps, and then there's a box over here for your conclusion. Again, once you have that filled out, take it by and let your teacher look at it before you spend a whole lot of time getting ready for it, only to find out that it wasn't allowed by your teacher. So get that done first. Good. Look over on page 25 now. On page 25, there is the demonstration rubric. So this is actually the judging sheet. So some of your teachers will be taking grades on this. That may be a question that you're asking right now. Is Mr. Michael, do we have to do this? Well, I can't make you do it, but your teacher may be requiring this as a grade. So talk to them. This is one of those standards that we hear about all the time. So this is the grading rubric. And this will tell you exactly what we, the 4-H agents, are looking for your demonstration. So use of language, body language, preparation and information. Were you prepared? Did you have good and accurate information? The effect on the audience. If everybody in the audience is like, they're probably bored. Okay, so that's where you need to make eye contact, have a good feeling in your voice, engage with your audience, get them to listen to you. Demonstration. Was this actually a demonstration? Okay. If you only stand up here and talk, that's not a demonstration. If you only flip through posters, that's not a demonstration. If you only show us without saying anything else, that's not really a demonstration. You've got to put all of those things together. Remember that a demonstration is a method of teaching where you show us how to do something while you're explaining it to us. Okay? And then if you have posters, we'll judge your posters. All right, we're going to stop for just a second, and I'm going to prepare to present a demonstration to you. What I want you to do is look over page 25 while I'm presenting this demonstration, and you are going to judge my demonstration. And at the end of it, we're going to talk about some of the things that I did really well, and maybe some of the things that I did that weren't so good. Okay. So we'll cut here, and I'm going to get set up, and we'll be right back with you. All right, kids, I have taken a few minutes and I've set up my demonstration. Now, this is an example demonstration. So what I want you to do is looking in your book on page 25, where you see the grading rubric, I want you to take out a pencil, and as I present my demonstration today, I want you to look through that grading rubric and circle the things that you think that I did really well or the things that I didn't do so well at. Okay? And any notes that you have, you can jot those down on the side too, because I promise I am going to mess up, and I'm going to do it on purpose, but I want you to see some of the things that I see every year, and it helps you if you see me do it. Okay? So I'm going to begin, and first off, if anyone has a stopwatch, you can time us, or if your teacher has a timer, somebody can be the timekeeper to keep up, because how long does my demonstration need to last? Less than 5 minutes, and preferably around 2.5 or 3 minutes. Okay, here we go. Good morning, class. Today for my 4-H demonstration, I am going to show you how to make the best snack on the planet. I'm going to teach you how to make solar oven s'mores. Now you may say, what is a s'more? I've heard of a s'more, but what is a solar oven s'more? Well, I'm going to teach you today how you can make s'mores using the power of the sun. Okay, first thing we have to do is get our materials together. Okay? We'll take a look here on my material list. The first thing you need is a pizza box. Now you can use a great big pizza box, but I personally like to use the little personal pan pizza boxes, so the small ones. You also need to have 2 clear plastic sheet protectors. Okay? You need some black construction paper. You need some duct tape. This is my favorite color, pink duct tape. I love it. Duct tape is really a very versatile piece of equipment. You can use it for a lot of things. You can make purses out of it or belts and use it to repair things. Anyway, duct tape. You need duct tape. You also need some clear plastic tape. You need to have a knife, a box knife. You need to have some scissors. Okay. You need to have a thermometer. As you see here, that is optional. It's not a requirement, but it is nice to know how hot your oven's getting. You need to have some wooden skewers. Okay, these are like big toothpicks. Okay, you get a little, ooh, gross. You need to have a wooden toothpick, a skewer. You need to have a glue stick. You also need to have some aluminum foil. Okay, and you need a ruler. We need a ruler, and you also need a pen. It's my pen. Oh. Gotta get my pen up over here. It's in my desk still. We gotta find it here. Okay. All right. And you also need a pen. Okay. Now, we're ready to get started. Okay. Now, first step. You're going to use your ruler to measure on your box top. You want to measure a square, and you want to be about 1 inch away from the end of the box. So you just make a little mark and a little mark over there, and then measure 1 inch over here and make a little mark. This next step is to take your box cutter and cut out on your line 1 inch from the lid. Now, since we're not allowed to have box cutters at school, my dad and I did this last night. We pre-cut our box lid. So I just used the box cutter, and then I use my scissors to cut this little flap. So basically, you'll have a little flap cut out. Okay. Next, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, next you need to use your ruler again to measure out the foil. You want to make the foil cover up just the lid of the box. So we're going to cut that out just like so. Okay, so you see here now it's just large enough to fit on my box lid. It just covers up my box lid. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is cut out another piece of foil that we can put in the bottom of our box. So I'm going to cut that out right here, and I know you won't be able to see here for a second, but I'm cutting that out. Okay, and now I'm going to lay that down in the bottom of my box. So where we are now, we've cut out a flap, we've taken aluminum foil for the lid, and also one for the bottom of the box. The next thing that you're going to do is tape the construction paper in the bottom of the box on top of the foil. So again, we've got to take our construction paper and cut that out. We measured this, and we're going to cut this out on the lines that we measured. So we're going to cut that out and stick that, and glue this in here. Tape this in here. All right, now in my box, I have taped the construction paper in the bottom of the box. So now we are ready for step 7. The next thing we're going to do is cut out a piece of the sheet protectors to go over this. See how I can stick my hand through this hole? We're going to put our sheet protector right here. Okay, we want to do that. So we want our sheet protector, we want it just to cover up that hole. So we're going to take our knife out again and cut that out and tape that sheet protector on using our clear tape or the duct tape, either one. The clear tape works better, so I'm taping that in. Okay, and now you see that I have, it's kind of like a little window. Okay, I can't put my hand through there anymore. We have glued or taped that sheet protector into the lid. So now we have our box with our flap, the aluminum foil, and the sheet protector all in place. The next thing to do is to cut or break your wooden skewer. Oh, forgot to tell you, you also need to have the materials. You need to have some graham crackers and some chocolate and some marshmallows. Oh, look, I'm a marshmallow monster. Mwah! Okay, oh, sorry. Okay, now we're ready. We go back to this. We're going to take our wooden skewer, and right now, this wooden skewer, what you use it for is to hold your lid up, but it's too long. So we need to measure how far, and it's easier if you just kind of put the pointy end down and measure. So I'm going to cut it right there. I'm going to use my scissors to cut that. Perfect. And now I have my skewer. Now it's cut and it's much shorter. Okay, so we have it right here. And the next thing you're going to do is use your duct tape to cover the ends of the skewer. Okay. So here's one, I've already put it on one end, and we're going to cover up the end, the flat end of the skewer. We're going to put a little duct tape on it, like this, so it looks like a little flag. The next thing we're going to do is step 10, tape the skewer to the top of the box to hold it open like a kickstand on your bicycle. Okay? So we're just going to tape that right here. Okay? And it's on there. Oh, it just fell off. Hang on, a little technical difficulty. All right. This is a little bit of a tricky part, okay? So if you don't get it on your first try, that's okay. We just have to keep working, and we will get it on here, just like so. All right, now it's on there, so it's going to be like my little kickstand. And we're going to set your skewer. This is where you can take your pin again if you still have it, and you can poke a hole or just use the end of another skewer and poke a hole in the lid. And this is where we're going to, okay, so you just poke a hole in the lid, and now we use now we stick that in there like that, and my tape fell off again. I got to get a new piece of tape. It's a little bit tricky of a tricky thing here sometimes, a little tricky. Oh. Mr. Michael, this isn't working. Okay, I got it. Okay, now that is our oven. We have a solar oven. Now what this does is it catches the rays from the sun as they beat down, and it reflects off of this aluminum foil, bounces, it reflects down into the box through the clear sheet cover and heats up. The black paper absorbs the sun's energy and heats up our solar box. So this will get hot enough to melt chocolate and your marshmallow. So what you're going to do now is it's step 12. It's time to take this out, put it in the sunshine, get out 1 graham cracker, your marshmallow, and your chocolate, and another piece of graham cracker on top. Open up your oven if it's preheated out in the sun, and you want to do this kind of quickly so that all your heat doesn't escape. But you'll take that, put it right in there, shut your oven back, and now you have a solar oven, and you're ready to go out and let it heat up and melt your marshmallow and your chocolate, and then you can eat it. Yummy! Alright kids, what did you think of that demonstration example? Pretty good. It wasn't the best demonstration in the world, but it wasn't the worst either. In fact, let's just talk about a few of the things that went really well or went really wrong. What was something that you noticed? The time. What did you think about the time? Was the time good or was the time bad? The time was very bad. How long was that demonstration? Well, I think it was close to 9 minutes long. So we went really over. If you had done a demonstration like that in class, I probably would have had to stop you. Say, whoa, it's a good demonstration, but it's taking too long. We've gone way over our time limit. What were some of the places? Why did that happen? What were some of the reasons that it went long? Well, number one, we had some problems. Was I really prepared? I was pretty prepared. I had all of my materials. I had worked out a few of the steps at home. I didn't, cut everything out here right in front of you. That would have taken entirely too long. But was I totally prepared? No. Okay, I didn't have all of my materials here. I had to go look for my pen. That wasted some time. My posters weren't in order. Okay, I had to rearrange my posters. Maybe I wasn't really familiar with all of my steps. Maybe I hadn't practiced this enough at home. I had some problems with my tape. Speaking of the tape, I wasted some time doing what? Telling you about why duct tape is so awesome, right? And telling you this is my favorite color duct tape and all the uses that you could have. So there were some problems that I had along the way with my demonstration. But what were some of the good things? Well, it was a demonstration. It was a complete demonstration. I think that all of you could go home and make one of these solar ovens with just a little bit of help. Okay? What else was good? The posters. Were the posters good? Yes. Okay. We just had, all I had was I had one sheet of poster that I cut in half and used the front and back of each section. Okay. So we had our title poster, which is really easy. It has words, they're colorful, it also has pictures. We had the materials listed. We had words as well as the pictures of the materials. We had the steps. Now, this might have been a little bit of a problem. Could you, in the back of the room, could you read this poster? No, it was too hard to read. There was too much material on this poster. So we need to maybe simplify our steps or make these words bigger so that we can see them. And then we had the ending poster. We just said yum. Okay, we could have taken some of these steps and put it on the back here instead of saying yum. Okay, so what about my voice and my actions and things like that? Were those good or bad? They were great, okay? So lots of voice, lots of eye contact, using examples of catching the sunlight. Those are all things that will really help your audience stay focused on you and listening to you. Okay? So that's just a real quick example of a demonstration. I'll look forward, and the other 4-H agents look forward to seeing your demonstrations at our next meeting. If you have any questions, give us a call at the office. The number is in your 4-H yearbook and all of the rules. You can go home and watch this same video with your family, and that way everybody's on the same page. Again, sorry we couldn't be there in class today, but we look forward to seeing you next month, and I look forward to seeing some great demonstrations.